We spent so much time focusing on the basketball as of late. It's a baseball team that's going to start here in a couple of weeks. Pitchers and catchers are going to report. Spring training right around the corner. Then before you know it, the season is going to begin, and the Diamondbacks' pursuit of the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League West will be underway. Well, the Dodgers have been pretty busy, and they recently have added some pitchers. No, I'm not talking Roki Sasaki or Blake Snell. They added Tanner Scott. They look like they've added Kirby Yates, although we're still waiting for that to ultimately become official. I think that's a roster issue right now for the Dodgers because they're trying to clear some roster spots. And those are a couple of the top options that were available in free agency, at least as it comes to relief pitchers or closers. And the Arizona Diamondbacks, we said they had a couple of needs this offseason. Needed to get a first baseman. If Christian Walker was going to leave, check, Josh Naylor. They needed to get a DH because Jock Peterson was leaving. I think they're going to go in-house with that as of this point because they haven't been linked to anybody else, and I don't know if I love some of the options that are still out there. Then we said, hey, get a third high-leverage reliever. Give yourself three guys in the back end of your bullpen that you trust. The 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, you feel, boom. We got Justin Martinez, we got A.J. Puck, and we've got whoever that free agent signing was going to be. Well, Diamondbacks haven't really got out of their way to pursue anybody. Jeff Hoffman's up in Toronto. Tanner Scott to the Dodgers. We mentioned Kirby Yates, Aroldis Chapman, Blake Trinan, Chris Martin. All these guys off the board, right? These top options. So you're left wondering aloud, is that still the plan? Is the plan still to get a reliever? Is the plan still to add one more arm to the back end of that bullpen? It certainly should be. Listen, I love Justin Martinez. I think he's the future closer of this team. I believe he's going to be the closer this year. I think that stuff plays in the 9th inning in the high leverage spots better than anything else that they have. The command is obviously a problem, but I don't know how many pitchers in baseball you know of that throw a 100-plus mile-an-hour sinker, okay? It's not many. There's not a lot of guys that have that kind of movement and that kind of speed on that kind of pitch. Like, that's elite level stuff. That's a guy you want in the 9th inning or in a high leverage situation in the postseason facing the best of the best because I've got the stuff that can get you out. Good luck. So I'm all in on Justin Martinez. And I know it was an up and down roller coaster ride. I know it was up and down. He didn't have necessarily the best command. But that's the stuff that plays the best. And when you need a reliever, when you need a closer, when you need a shutdown guy, you lean towards stuff. You lean towards the arsenal. Do I have the swing and miss? Do I have blow it by you? Do I have the, I can throw this right here. You know it's coming. It's still going to beat you. That's what you need out of the closer. So Justin Martinez, the closer of this team. I think A.J. Puck is the perfect setup man, whether it's for the 7th or 8th inning. I think that lefty arm is super valuable to be able to get out a tough lefty right before the high leverage spot, potentially in the 9th inning to close the game. I thought he was great since coming over here in the trade. What a great trade by Mike Hazen to go out and get a reliever to help them for the run last year, although it came up short, but to get a guy that had control beyond last year. And so now you've got your bullpen. We told you last year Paul Sewald was going to leave, right, in free agency. You had the in-house options. You got A.J. Puck. You got Justin Martinez. Boom, you're good. You're ready to go. But you need that third piece. And so is that still the plan? It certainly should be. You need one more. And bullpens they're all over the place. You're going to have guys that are going to come out of nowhere. And you have guys who I think can probably handle that role if you wanted to go in-house, right? If you were going to have Justin Martinez be your closer, if you were going to have A.J. Puck be your lead setup guy, who can be that extra setup guy? Kevin Ginkel feels like he fits in that role. We've seen him do it in the past. Ryan Thompson feels like he could sit in that role. You've got options in that bullpen that I think you could turn to. And you know with bullpens, there's going to be guys that they call up from the minors. There's going to be guys that they sign to minor league deals here right before spring. And it might not be the big ticket item. It might not be the big closer. It might not be Tanner Scott or Kirby Yates. It might not be one of those guys. But they might bring somebody in. So who's left? Well, if they wanted to go big game hunting, David Robertson is available. And all of these guys have pros and cons, right? David Robinson, the con is 40 years old, right? And so does he still want to pitch? How much juice does he have left? Is he one injury away from being done? When you get guys that are that old, it can kind of very quickly, if one bad thing happens and they miss a couple of months, that might be it. But has experience of being a closer, has experience of being a setup man, is a experienced veteran who's been in the league 15 seasons, 15 years of service time in the big leagues. There's value in that for a young closer like Justin Martinez. You then have Kenley Jansen, 37 years old. Again, a guy who's been a closer. You've seen a lot of him. You've seen a lot of Kenley Jansen as a Diamondbacks fan. You know what you're getting. Are you getting what he was with the Dodgers? No, you are not. But a nice veteran piece to be the right-handed side of maybe a setup platoon with A.J. Puck, and he's a veteran. That's nice. Carlos Estevez, 32-year-old. So the pro there that's the youngest of the options that I've named so far. He is probably also going to cost the least in terms of value. And last year, with both the Angels and the Phillies, pitched to a 2.45 ERA. Didn't have a ton of home runs. Had one of the best years of his career in home runs per 9. Increased his ground ball rate. Did all the things that you want to see a pitcher do. And he's 32 years old. Projected contract, 2 years, $18 million. So $9 million a season to get you a veteran setup guy. Also a guy who's been a closer in the past. So there are still options out there. There's also some second-tier options. Maybe a reunion with old friend Andrew Chafin. Maybe you take a flyer on a Craig Kimbrell, Tommy Kahnle, guys who have been closers in the past, who have that experience. Again, I think you go into the year with Justin Martinez as your setup guy. But I think you'd like to have an in-house veteran option where if things get bumpy and you need to turn to somebody for a series or two to kind of help right the ship, you have a veteran in-house. And so that's what I think they're going to lean towards. Somebody who is maybe older, maybe doesn't need to be the closer, but has that experience in the past, can check that box, but also gives you another elite setup option. And there are names still out there. The fun thing about bullpens is you can just look all over the place, and there's just guys. There's just guys always available. You're going to sign somebody to a minor league deal or a spring training invite, and then all of a sudden they're going to have a great spring, and somebody that you didn't think was going to be a part of this bullpen, or you didn't think was going to make the team, or you didn't even you don't know who they were 3 days ago, all of a sudden is going to be a part of this bullpen. And maybe, just maybe, Mike Hazen has a trick up his sleeve. And maybe, just maybe, Mike Hazen might swing a trade for a reliever. Maybe there's a team that's trying to free up a roster spot. I know the Dodgers are doing that. I don't know if they would trade within the division. Maybe there's another team that just wants to shed a little bit of money. Pay half of a reliever's salary. And Mike Hazen can swoop in and say, hey, we'll take that reliever off your hands. Hey, we'll add that guy to our bullpen. And so it's quiet, and I don't like that it's quiet because I truthfully think this needs to be a priority. I think this needs to be the last thing they do this offseason. But so far, they haven't done a whole lot. So far, they have not pursued this avenue just yet. It's been Corbin Burns. It's been Josh Naylor. That has been the big-ticket shopping that the Diamondbacks have done. And you can't complain, but I just think they're missing that one additional piece in the bullpen that would make me feel a little bit better when the rotation hands things off to those guys. Just another veteran, another option who also probably has a closer background just in case Justin Martinez isn't up to the task in the early going. Because, listen, you got to hit the ground running. I'm full belief that the Dodgers, I know health's going to be a big question mark, but I truly think the 2001 Mariners record is in play. And the Mariners that year went 116-46. It's the regular season record for wins in a season. I truly think the Dodgers could be in play to win 117 games. Now, again, there's health that's a concern. They have a lot of that stuff that's going on. But talent-wise, they have a chance to win 117 games. So you got to hit the ground running. You can't have a week or two where your closer's giving games away and you don't have anybody else that you can turn to, kind of like where they were last year. So I'd like to see, before we get to the end of the road, before we get to spring training, before we get to the start of the season, them add another reliever. The good news, lots of names out there.